Hello everybody and welcome to Attunement Tarot. My name is Robin and today we're going to do a pick-a-pile reading for your first quarter of 2026. So this is going to cover the energies of January, February, and March. So I'll introduce the piles and then I will see you at your reading. So pile number one, we have this smoky amethyst tower. Okay, let's see here, and there is a phantom in there. I can show that. There's a phantom. Hopefully that comes through, but there are also rainbows. Check out those rainbows. Beautiful. And we're going to be pairing this tower with the Pagan Otherworlds tarot, and that's for pile number one. Pile number two, we have this smoky Lemurian, and it also has starberry markings. So this is a really wonderful stone for manifestation, and also like you rub the starberry and kind of do your meditation like that, right? Or your prayer. So here is the smoky Lemurian. And that is coupled with the Tarot of the Woodland Wardens. And that's pile number two. Pile number three is a hematoid tower with either scarlet Lemurian or fire quartz. Okay, I don't remember which, but it is a hematoid tower. And that is pile number three, and that's going to be with the Metanoia Marseille. Okay, so go on ahead and pick your pile, and I will see you at your reading. Hello, pile one. If you picked the amethyst tower, or the smoky amethyst tower with the rainbows and the phantom in there, hopefully that's able to catch it. It's up towards the top then. And the Pagan Otherworlds tarot, this is your reading. Okay, let's get started here. So like I said in the intro, this is going to be a first quarter overview. Perhaps what you can expect, it'll be whatever comes out here. So I'll do layout cards for January, February, and March. So you could possibly take some notes, or you could even just refer back to the reading on another day, as the quarter goes on. And if you're drawn to more than one pile, feel free to watch that as well, because there may be some messages for you in that pile as well. Okay. And timestamps are below, so if you want to skip the shuffling and the invitation, then feel free to just skip straight to the reading. Okay. I'd like to invite Spirit in at this time with so much gratitude. Oops. The lovers wanted to pop out. I wanted to invite Spirit in at this time with so much gratitude and respectfully request a message for pile number one for their first quarter of 2026, January, February, and March. Please and thank you, Spirit. Bottom of the deck energy, we do have the Four of Cups. Closer there. Okay. The Star. Six of Swords. Three of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Nice. Okay. So right away, the main theme of the first quarter of 2026 is that you're dealing with something that is quite melancholic. It's, you know, something that I'm sure you would rather not be dealing with on some level. But the thing is that we can have two things happening at once: healing and planning and moving away from whatever it is, okay? And rebuilding. There's a moving away, a rebuilding, and then, you know, getting assistance from those in your life that are generous. This looks to me like a trajectory here, okay? And this really does all go together so well. And I will say that's really tough. You know, this is quite specific. It's quite specific. But with the Star here, this is the calm after the storm. So the storm has already happened, pile number one, and you are moving away. You are departing from this energy in January of 2026, and we'll pull more cards on that and each month in order to kind of get more of the story. But this is quite specific. It could be, I mean, and given that the Lovers wanted to pop out during the shuffling, and also the Empress, this could be, you know, you leaving a relationship that is romantic or very significant. This could also be you moving away from a mother figure. And the other aspect of the Lovers is differentiation, okay? So a lot of times when we, you know, differentiate from our parent figures, that can be it's quite the drawn out experience, you know, because it comes in tandem with growing and living and becoming for ourselves. But dependent upon the kind of relationship we've had with our primary attachments, that can be a struggle, or, you know, somewhere in between of being very, very challenging, or maybe just a big adjustment. And yeah, that's definitely a possibility here too. It's about emotional maturity, evolution, or evolving rather, for yourself. And right as I said that, the candle went out. The candle is done. That candle, at least. But yeah. So you're in a state of evolving here, pile number one. Now this could also be a departure from a job, because we also have Pentacles here and rebuilding, right? Okay, so let's go ahead. Spirit, can you tell me more about the month of January and the Six of Swords here, please? I have a lot of crystals here. Okay, all right. So yeah, you know, this has been something that has been on your mind for quite some time. There have been a lot of worries about it. And there could have definitely been people in your sphere, in your orbit, that have been, you know, maybe cautioning. Like, everybody has an opinion, right, about what it is you should do, whether you should depart, when you should depart, you know, what is this all about? And ultimately, I feel like everybody is on the same page with regard to the goal, that ultimately they want you to be happy. All right. This can also be read as you as well. Like it could be a group of people, or it could even just be within you, where this, I would say perhaps that would be a little bit stronger, but be that as it may, we do have many ideas and many ways in which we want to take action on a thing, especially if it's a life transition. Because, if it wasn't so big, we wouldn't worry about it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you need to choose your happiness. Now, 9 is the number of the self. So I get the sense like this is a solo journey here. Okay? Pile number 1. This is a solo journey. Okay, yeah. You have been thinking about this for quite some time. It's been something that's been in the back of your mind prior to January. I feel like with January coming along is kind of like with the new year starting over, needing to go. Because, this could represent you not being happy with the circumstances as they are right now. This can also represent the melancholic feeling that you've been carrying for quite some time that has actually been the low grade fuel to your fire to take action. Okay? Because a lot of times when we're in the 4 of Cups energy, it's like a low grade hum that just kind of hangs out whenever we turn our attention towards the thing that needs changing. We can often turn our attention away from it because it's just kind of unpleasant. It's like, ugh, like it's kind of just a pain in the rump, it just is like, ugh. So that's a part of this energy that's here as well. But I'm telling you that the healing here is a part of this energy. You choosing what it is that you need to be happy. Okay, and this, but it's hard to make really big changes because we're worried. We're worried about money. We're worried about stability. We worry about where, do I have to move towns because it's so expensive in this place where I live? Like, whatever the case may be, right? Okay. All right. So, Spirit, can you tell me more about the month of February and the 3 of Pentacles? Yes. Yes, indeed. I love this for you, pile number 1. I love this for you. So you're rebuilding here. You make your moves in January. You have spent the time that you've needed to spend, ruminating, rummaging, all the things about it. Low grade worry, low grade, avoidance. All of that. And so in February, you're rebuilding. And you're not just rebuilding alone. There are people who are with you because this requires support. You even call in more support in the month of February. This is a beautiful thing. This could be folks from your spiritual community, okay? This could be folks from your spiritual community, but whatever it is, it really just lifts you up. And there's a part of you that's like, gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? But ultimately, you answer that question by saying, well, if I didn't do it right now, then it wouldn't be going the way that it needs to be going. Now was the right time because I'm supported here by my spirituality, my moral compass. I can trust myself and my inner guidance system around what I need to do and what I have done, and trust that I made the right decision. There's a part of you that feels very excited, very optimistic about the future. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. We have a blindfold here on this person, but it's like the possibilities are endless, right? Anything that could come in that you feel excited about or curious about, you have the freedom to turn your attention toward it or not. And that's lovely. I see freedom here. And you're balancing that freedom and that excitement with the practicalities of getting resettled here, pile number 1. Okay? But all along the way, you're your spirituality, your moral compass, the credo that you've, developed in your life has helped you, is helping you with this, is shining a light on everything. And this is also an invitation from Spirit to say that if you need the help of a trusted advisor, mentor, guide, psychotherapist, even a teacher taking classes, what have you, that is also here for you. That's also available for you. And I feel like in the month of February, there could even be a taking up on that offer, because this is the card of receiving. It's a card of giving and receiving, but pile number one, I really do feel like you are in the receiving mode. You're allowing yourself to be receptive. And with that Empress card that wanted to pop out, that is receptive energy. It's not chasing energy, it's receptive energy. So I feel like the assistance that the universe is going to send you at this time, pile number one, is going to be spot on for you. Okay? This is beautiful. This is really beautiful. Okay, Spirit, can you tell me more about the Six of Pentacles in the month of March for pile number one, please? Okay. So, this even could be a divorce that you're going to be going through. That's a possibility here. And counsel, lawyer, what have you, is also in alignment with the Hierophant energy. This is also contracts, okay? Contracts, marriage. I'm going to sit up and... Okay, yeah, I want to make sure all the cards are in frame there, which they are. Okay. Now, yeah, you're getting assistance here to get things balanced out. And as you move through this process, you're definitely going to feel the grief. You're going to feel the grief of this ending. You're going to feel the grief of this moving away, because the thing is that whatever you were engaged in at one time was never all bad. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been there to begin with. So you're going to have like this nostalgia, this recall, of the lovely things, and the grief is going to arise. And when it does, allow yourself to let that flow. Allow yourself to move that energy through and to honor it and to hold both things of whatever it is that you are leaving, which to me this looks like a partnership, a marriage, long-term committed relationship, because we did see the Lovers that wanted to pop out earlier. And with the Hierophant and the Justice in the same read, and just the whole theme of this would suggest as such, but it doesn't have to be for you. I mean, this is also for everybody. But yeah, there's something here. It's going to arise. You're going to be in a position where you're holding both, where you can feel both things about the same thing. Like, you can feel grief and sadness for having it be done. You could also feel joy for it to be done now, because we don't typically leave a place or a person unless the negative experiences, maybe even the instances in which our own nervous system is dysregulated in this place or in the presence of this person, outweighs the experiences of when our nervous system feels safe. And I think it's very powerful and important to pay attention to yourself, and you have, pile number one, because if you didn't, you would still just be stuck in the Four of Cups. And this is a stuck energy, and I feel like you've probably felt very stuck for a very long time. but you are getting assistance. It's going to bring up all the feels, okay? And with the Queen of Cups, you're meeting it with so much emotional maturity and love and empathy for everyone involved, for yourself, for who and whatever you are dealing with, the counterpart here, okay? Now listen, the Queen of Cups is the only, possesses the only cup in the tarot that has a lid. This says, I get to choose. I have boundaries around what I give and receive emotionally. And that's coming from an emotionally mature place, okay? Because this queen wants her waters to be calm. She wants her waters to be calm. And that was the original motivation here. This is calm waters around her feet. We started out with departing from rough waters here, okay? So this is what the story looks like for the first quarter of 2026. And I will say, you know, I mean, given new years and transitions and all the things, I think that this is apropos. It all just follows and flows and tracks. And through this reading, pile number one, there is a trajectory. So that is to say that your intuition, your long-term low-grade hum of dissatisfaction, sadness, all the things, and your strong motivation for healing here, healing and happiness, has a flow. It's focused, it's driven, and it is moving forward. Because honestly, if it didn't, we would have bounce back energy, bounce back and forth energy, and I don't see that here. I do see a holding of the grief, which I feel is very, very natural and normal and healthy. This whole thing right here, this whole reading for you, pile number one, if you're finding that this resonates with you, the health is, you are very much in alignment with your health and wellness right now. And it might not feel that way. It may have not felt that way before, right? But bam, it's just here you are, and the sun is coming out. And yeah, it is going to be sad in some times, but ultimately the growth and the shift and the change that happens for you is just like, wow, I feel like you're going to feel renewed, reborn, you know, like there could even be, like I spoke of holding two energies at once, right? In that energy, the two energies we hold at once is excitement, optimism for the future, wide open, unfettered space, but also that can come with feelings of fear, of vulnerability, maybe even like, ooh, you know, there's going to be that the two-sided coin of having that freedom and having that excitement, but then you could feel like a little nervous sometimes, like a babe in the woods. And that's, I feel like, your nervous system recalibrating and learning to trust yourself again, which is all a process and all a part of this experience that you find yourself in, pile number one. And that's just fine. You're right where you need to be with it. Okay, so pile number one, I'm going to leave it there for the tarot, okay? And I'm going to pull I'm going to pull two Oracle / wisdom cards for you. And we're going to start with the power of surrender. Surrender your desire to control people. Being over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Yeah, perhaps that was an energy that you were living in for a long time. And then you came to terms with yourself and you're like, I can't do that. Here I am trying to make things different than what they are. And I've been living with this for too long. And, I can't change the circumstances or the people I'm dealing with. So I gotta change mine. So that's what I get from that. Okay. Because this reading, this tarot, is a reflection of someone who is completely self-possessed and has made decisions for their own healing and health and wellness and happiness here. Okay. You made the decision. You chose yourself. Pile number 1. From the Soulflower Remedy or Soulflower, yeah, Hawthorn, courage. Hawthorn is medicine for the heart on all levels, helping you find the courage to face and overcome your fears and facilitating self-love and self-acceptance. Hawthorn supports a strong and protected, open-hearted state, allowing you to fully give and receive love so you can truly come into your own divine strength and power. Yes. And I believe that that's exactly what you are working with here, pile number 1. So I wish you the best of luck. I feel like this is completely in alignment and you are on the right path, okay? All right. Always trust yourself. Okay. See you next time. Bye. Hello, pile 2, and welcome to your reading. Okay, so if you chose the Smoky Lemurian, then this is your reading. Okay. This one is a tower, but it doesn't stand. So I have to kind of let it lay there. All right. Okay. And this deck here is a very new deck, and it's quite stiff, but it's a beautiful deck. Very, very nice to read with. I really enjoy it. So this is going to be a reading for, as I covered in the intro, but I'll cover again here, the first quarter of 2026. Happy New Year, by the way. That's great. And January, February, and March, we're going to be looking into, and we'll just kind of see what unfolds. All right. Now, if you were drawn to more than one pile, go on ahead and you can watch those piles as well. But let's get into it. We also have timestamps. Below, and so you can just jump straight to the reading. If you want to skip the shuffling and the blessing, you're more than welcome to do that. Sometimes cards will pop out during the shuffling, and that will give us more insight later on as we get into the reading. But I definitely call them out if they want to hop out. Okay, so I'm going to invite Spirit in at this time with so much gratitude and respectfully request a message for pile number 2 for their greatest and highest good at this time. What do they need to know for the first quarter of 2026 for the months of January? Jeez Louise. 9 of Pentacles, okay? For the month of January, February, and March. Please and thank you, Spirit. Ah! Three of Swords wanted to pop out as well, okay? Okay. Bottom of the deck energy, we have Judgment. So this is, could be a feeling like crossroads energy. 10 of Swords for the current energy, January. Knight of Cups. Let's move this little dude over here. Boop. These are pretty big cards. All right. Okay. All right, pile number 2. It would appear that right now you are dealing with some kind of betrayal, heartbreak. That's just going to be what it is. There, that card. All right, so you're dealing with some sort of betrayal and geez Louise, how many distractions can happen in this reading? My apologies. I'm so sorry. Get regrouped here. So you've experienced some level of betrayal, or, you know, this pain that's here. It could have been a long time coming, or just repeated experiences, okay? I call the 10 of Swords death by 1,000 cuts. And then there's a Judgment here. That's the underlying energy. In the month of January, you have a Knight of Cups coming your way, okay? Overall, it would appear that this Knight of Cups, presenting a cup, and this definitely could be an apology of some kind, given the other cards that we have. And, you know, the Knight of Cups can really feel as though they believe and feel everything that they're saying. And there can be a misalignment in words, feelings, and actions, okay? I get the sense that someone has hurt you very deeply, and now they're coming in the month of January to offer some sort of apology. You know, let's work on this, let's make it right, la-di-da. And you're, you know, perhaps in the month of February you entertain it, but there could even be, you know, this in the back of your mind, a willful blindness about the very nature of this relationship, or the very nature of this relationship, the relationship dynamics, okay? Someone could have a really difficult time communicating. Messages could be lost. But ultimately in March, I get the sense that you're done, okay? It's like, I feel like in the month of February, you are maybe, we'll just read on, but this is typically the willful blindness energy. And of course, when somebody that we love and care about hurts us and hurts our feelings, then comes back with an apology and is like, you know, and they sound like they own everything that they've done and all the things, and they're just so charming and so loving and just, you know, I mean, clearly they can be quite irresistible, okay? So let us look into January. Spirit, can you tell me more about the Knight of Cups and the month of January? do have a long history with this person. So, therefore, you know exactly how the dynamics in this relationship have been, which includes the good and the bad. There's a part of you that loves this person so much, okay? Like really just, you have a very deep love and bond with them. And when they come in to offer you this apology, you are worried. This eight of arrows, as it's called in this deck, is the Eight of Swords, and you could be like really caught in between. Like, I want to believe them. Can I? Is this going to happen again? And the thing is, it's like there's a lot of fears here. So you could even have some experiences of like doubting yourself, even though you have repeated experiences of being hurt here. Okay. And the overall energy is the Judgment. So you're at a crossroads, and this would definitely be a big crossroads energy. Okay. With the Ace of Wands here, we have the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Cups. So I get the sense that you're very attracted to this person. They're very attracted to you, and they can use their physical ardor very magically. They definitely have a charm, and they, can definitely seduce you and woo you back to them. If this is romantic, which I get the sense that it is, but it doesn't have to be. If this is a non-romantic situation, and this is a friend or a family member, somebody that you have long history with, the Ace of Wands showing up is like the opportunity to seize. So they could end up using some sort of manipulative tactic. Like, either way, there could be some manipulation here with regard to using either passion and physical affection to get you back if it's romantic. If it's not, they could use some sort of other kind of manipulation that would suggest, well, you have to make this decision now. Here I am, I'm apologizing. And if you don't ever want to speak to me again, then fine, I'll never bother you again. Making it feel very like it's now or never kind of energy, which is quite manipulative. As if you didn't have any right to say to this person, hey, you've given me a lot to think about, and there's a lot of things for me to consider, given that this is a repeated dynamic in our relationship, and I care about you so much. I really do love you, but this stuff is very, very, very damaging to me. I find that I'm worried a lot of the time about this relationship, about you, about myself, about everything. And, I deserve time to think about that. So something along those lines, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and look into the month of February. Spirit, can you tell me more about the Two of Swords and the month of February, please? Yeah, as I said in the beginning, listen. As I said in the beginning of the reading, I said, perhaps you do accept this person's apology. You get back into it, right? Because we have this recommitment here. And then we have the King of Wands and the Queen of Swords. So it's kind of like you accepting this apology on conditions. Accepting this apology, like, but this time it's really got to be different. You got to go to therapy. We're okay. Let's rejoin, recommit to this and everything. But you, pile number 2, are keeping your eyes open. You are very discerning at this time. There's 2 energies playing out here. I feel as though you already know that this is like, there's probably 98% of you in your mind thinking, what am I doing? This is obviously going to take a dump again. This person has repeatedly, done this stuff, la-di-da. It's here we go round the mulberry bush again and all of that. But yet they are so, like, they have a lot to offer in certain areas that, and you love them, you're very long-term bonded with them, right? And they could be so charming, and they could also be, you like totally, when this person steps up, they step up. They really, really bring it, right? We go from the Knight of Cups to the King of Wands, and like the King of Wands, like, gosh, it's a very irresistible energy. So competent. Like you see this person and they basically have the qualities that you admire, the go-getter attitude, the ability to stay calm in a crisis, like they can fix stuff, like they can, it seems like their timing is right, like it's just like they really bring it, and you're like, yeah. But so with the Two of Wands playing in, or Two of Swords playing into this, I feel like that is at the back of your mind. And so you're sitting in and embodying the Queen of Swords energy by being like, okay, I'm going to believe it if I see it. I'm going to recommit to this, but I will believe it as I see it, and see it continuing to happen. One false move, you're gone. Okay? Or one false move, I'm gone. This is the last time we're doing this. Okay? That's what I'm seeing here. All right, and it would appear by March, clearly someone's mask. Let's just see what March has to say. Okay, Spirit, can you tell me more about the Six of Swords and the month of March for pile number 2, please? Okay, listen. So, I get the sense that in the month of March, you do decide to leave. However, you're not going to be leaving right away. This is going to be a private, internal thing. You probably won't be saying this to this person. You're gonna lay in wait and watch. You're gonna watch here. I feel like in March you see enough to know that you are going to go, but you are doing it in a timely fashion because you're trying to get your ducks in a row here with your coin and your practical matters, getting all the practical matters in place. Okay? Getting the practical matters in place. And the other thing here is that you're seeing this situation from another perspective, this commitment, this long-term bond. You're seeing it from another angle. You see the beauty and the shared good times and the shared things and the celebrations that you have had with this person. And you're looking at the whole picture, I feel like. And I get the sense that in the time of you evaluating and maybe even not letting on that you're so keen on the observation and the evaluation, that you are being very well measured in how you respond to things. Being quiet about what you observe. You're not blowing the lid off. You could be keeping track of little red flags that pop up here and there. But you're biding your time in order to get a stable ground beneath your feet, which I feel like having the Queen of Swords and the King of Pentacles energy assisting you that's very, very strong. Very strong. You're being very wise, very discerning about what it is you need to lay in the foundation of things. This is very similar to pile number 1. It is. And I will say, I mean, just personally, because sometimes readers can project their own experience onto the cards, I'm not going through any of this stuff at all. At all. And so this is like just, you know, these are the cards that have come out for pile number 2. It's similar to pile number 1. You know, we have judgment energy, crossroads energy, and apology. Something that is different is that something has appeared very painful over time. Painful over time. Over a long time as well. And not painful every day, you know, but just cyclical. It's a dynamic. Because the apology comes in, then there's a stepping up energy, a recommitment, and then, you know, here we are. So I feel by the month of March, you're really finally making up your mind, but you are not vocalizing it. You have an idea and you have a plan, but you're keeping quiet about it. But this is something that's very like strong in your internal knowing. What could have been, you know, maybe a little bit of willful blindness in the month of February is coming into full focus for you in March. And I just really want to say that I feel like you, like, you knew, and there's no blame or shame in that at all. And so I don't think your willful blindness is so strong that it's overshadowing your very grounded knowing. I just feel like in the month of March, it really solidifies. And not into any kind of rigid thing for you. It's like an integrated knowing. And when we have an experience where we integrate a knowing, there is a softness to it. There is a silent kind of acceptance to it, as if we're kind of just laying it down at our own feet, and we're surrendering, and we are accepting that this is what it is. And you know what? Hey, that's okay. It is exactly how it is, and I get to choose to depart. I get to choose. I don't need to feel, you know, goaded or seduced into staying here. I did give it one final college try. I did. I kept my eyes open around it over here. Maybe it's like there's a little bit of a dance here. There's a little bit of dualistic dance here that I feel like you had to balance, you know, because the thing is that you wouldn't have entertained this at all if you didn't want it to work, if you didn't want to give it that one final go. And that's okay. We make our choices and we get clearer. And I feel like in the month of March, you definitely get clear, and clearer in such a way that it's not fueled or backed by anger or aggression or this had happened again and rah, 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 and like all this kind of intense energy. It is simply like it's like you're stepping into surrender and acceptance, and it's just like as if you've gone so far so many times that you're just like, I just don't have the energy to even get as pissed off about this anymore. I'm kind of at a place of acceptance now, and I'm feeling ready to go, you know. So that's what I got for you, pile number 2, for this the first quarter of 2026. I mean, a lot of things are shifting for a lot of people, and I will say that even the celestials, I'm not an astrologer, but I do listen to astrology, and there are some, major conjunctions happening, the biggest one of which I'm sure you've heard about, Saturn and Neptune, conjunct in Aries, and so this speaks to that energy. It really, really does. Same thing for pile number 1 as well. I feel like pile number 1 was a bit more Saturnian, kind of starting off in that, let's go, we're going. And yeah, I feel like this is very Neptunian and then Saturnian for you. All right. Okay, so pile number 2, I'm going to pick a couple of wisdom cards for you. And let's go ahead and look at the power of surrender. Here we go. That one wanted to flip out for... Oh my gosh. This was the same one that came out for pile number 1. Surrender your desire to control people. Being over-controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's probably been a part of the dynamic here. That's been so painful. A lot of times in relationships, whether they be family, friends, lovers, whatever, there's just this big dogma around like trying to get other people to see things your way, or gosh, if they didn't do this, then this and that wouldn't happen this way, and all of the things, when at the end of the day, you got to just say, whatever it is that I'm not really on board with this other person, I could still love them, but I can also honor the fact that they have that. Whatever this thing is that I don't agree with belongs to them, and it's not mine, and that's cool. Let them hold it for as long as they're going to hold it, even if they hold it forever, because that's their karma, that's their path, that's their, even for some folks, cross to bear, whatever the case may be, right? It belongs to them. It belongs to them, and what you have belongs to you. And I feel like a lot of times we struggle so hard to get other people to kind of, get on the same page and all the things, because what would it mean if we didn't, and we did just surrender to what was? We would come to find that we're not a vibrational match, and then we don't want to go through that separation. We don't want to go through that pain of, maybe even ending something very, very long term that doesn't just disrupt the relationship, but it disrupts, your homeostasis, your coin, your family, your freaking house, like all the things. It's just like, dude, sometimes honoring your vibration really does bring in the tower, right? Okay, so let's go ahead further here. We're picking from the Soulflower Remedy, Wisdom, what have you. I always call it Soulflower Remedy, but I don't even know if that's what it's called, but it's Soulflower something. Here we go. Lavender, Restoration. Lavender's restorative and purifying energy and aroma calms and uplifts your mind and body, easing feelings of stress and agitation from your earthly distractions and rejuvenating your soul so that you can truly feel and radiate inner peace and harmony. Yeah, I feel like that's really important. I feel like that could even be an invitation from Spirit for like some sort of like stepping back and self-care. I feel like maybe in the month of March you kind of turn your attention more towards this kind of allowing and just surrendering, because you see it for what it is, and there it is, and you're not going to struggle against it anymore. You're just not going to. So and I feel that in these two cards for you. You're being mindful about what you need to do. Okay, pile number 2. I really hope that this was helpful for you. And let me know how it resonates in the comments below. And I'm sending you so much love and strength. And you have it in spades here. And I will see you next time. Bye. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. And if you chose the Hematoid Tower with the Scarlet Lemurian or Fire Quartz, I'm not sure which it is. I want to say Fire Quartz Tower, then this is your reading. And the tarot is the, oh geez, what is that called again? The Metanoia Marseille. The Metanoia Marseille. Okay, that's the name of this deck. Whoopsie. Sorry. My chair pulled the thing. Here we go. All right, let's get into it. Okay. As I said in the intro, this reading is going to be a 3-month overview for the first quarter of 2026. Happy New Year. All right. But I think we all know that the new year really starts in the spring. Okay. But yeah, for what it's worth, Happy New Year. So yeah, we'll look at January, February, and March. If you are drawn to more than one pile, feel free to access those as well. Timestamps are below, so if you want to skip the shuffling and the blessing, feel free to do so. But I will say sometimes other messages come out while I'm shuffling with regard to jumpers and things, you know, cards and energies that want to show their face. So with that being said, let's go ahead. I'd like to invite Spirit in with so much gratitude and respectfully request a message for pile number 3. For their greatest and highest good for the first quarter of 2026 for January, February, and March. Please and thank you, Spirit. Bottom of the deck energy is the Knight of Wands. Okay. You could be feeling quite fired up about something at this time, maybe excited, wanting to explore. Okay. All right. So I get the sense, pile number 3, that the energy that you're in right now is wanting, and maybe even having had just experienced or on the precipice of experiencing, a deep shift to end something, because we have the Knight of Wands and then the Death card here. Now, there's a part of you that's feeling very fired up about putting an end to something, wrapping up a work. But yet in March, you know, that we do have energy here overall that would suggest some willful blindness about the situation, okay? So this looks to me to be a work story. You want to end work, you want to maybe even shift your, you know, take your level of mastery elsewhere. Another way to read this energy is that you could have been developing a level of mastery, maybe even in a program at school, and now that is coming to a close. That path is ended, and now you're having to go out and apply that mastery. So your student time has ended, and now, you know, fired up with the Knight of Wands here, hitting the workforce, or where am I going to basically apply my skills. And you could be in a space of like, there's some willful blindness here. I can't quite tell what it would be, but we'll see when we get to the month of March, okay? So the month of January suggests a level of mastery in a certain area, and we're going to look into that more. Spirit, can you tell me more about the Eight of Pentacles for the month of January, please? Yeah. So the Page of Swords, this is a very new energy. This is like being at the beginning. This is, I'm seeing that we have the Eight of Pentacles and then the Swords. This is a entree into a new area as a beginner. You don't know where yet, but you know that it's tied to your most wished for and hoped for goals and dreams. With the page prior to the star, you could feel as though this brass ring or this thing is a bit out of reach. You have a very high level of mastery. You have what it takes to accomplish this, but it's not going to be right away. I don't feel like. I feel like there's a bit more work to be done. You know, perhaps a bit more learning that is going to come in the practical realm, not in the book realm. Okay? You're at the entree-vous, at the threshold of entering a new part of your education. And this is going to be the experiential part of your education, the applicable part of your education, and strengthening that craft, strengthening your skill through doing. Not just learning about, but through doing. That's how you're going to be learning. Okay? And you could have some fears about where that's going to be. Where, you know, how is that going to look? You could even be just simply having some fears about actually now being put in the real live hot seat to show up and to show your skill. And I will say this, don't ever be afraid to admit something that you don't know. We don't launch into anything knowing everything. Okay? And you don't know everything. which is fine, which is exactly where you need to be. Okay. I'm really interested in what it is that you do. Pile number 3. This is cool. This is really cool. Okay, let's see. Spirit, can you tell me more about the month of February and the world? Okay. You got the 4 of Pentacles and the 4 of Swords on either side of the Empress with the world. Okay. So there's a holding back. You know, something else, something has ended here. A cycle has come to a close. And now it's time to step into the next phase. And there's a part of you that's feeling a bit scared about doing that. However, you know, with the Empress energy here, you could be afraid of stepping into your own power. You could be doubting yourself when it comes to that energy, because with the 4 of Pentacles and the 4 of Swords on either side, that is basically holding it close to the vest and kind of like staying back, holding back, maybe even, you know, it's time to get up and go and apply what you've learned, and you're like, it's too overwhelming, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm going to take a nap. You know, it's like there's a bit of a holding back here. But with the Empress, I mean, that's an invitation from Spirit to say, hey, you have what it takes. I mean, even more so. And so you don't hear this. The other thing, you don't have to chase, because with the 4 of Pentacles and the 4 of Swords, there's a holding back energy. And so in order to not hold back and to launch yourself forward does not necessarily mean that you're launching into a chase. You are moving forward and opening yourself up to receive. So I would wonder if there's a part of you that's a little bit timid or afraid to receive. But you have what it takes, and the universe is working in alignment with you to bring you that with the star energy. So you want to step forward, step into the light, keeping your heart open to receive the assistance from the universe. And this could come in the form of people, it could come in the form of messages, it can come in the form of signs and symbols while you're just out in the regular day, you know, doing regular stuff that we all do, and something just kind of hits you. But, you know, when you have your heart open and you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, I have what it takes to accomplish my dream, I'm going to do it. And, you know, I'm not in control about how it goes and when it happens and all the things, but I need to surrender and trust that the universe will provide. I'm going to keep putting one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, and work on the things that I have right in front of me. If I'm in a place where it's not the best right now, I'm just going to give it, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up in my best, right? And I feel like there's a balancing of those energies, a little bit of timidity, if that's a word, I think it might be, a little bit of timidity balanced with the, you know, moments of Knight of Wands energy, fired up, wanting and motivated. So you could be going back and forth a bit with regard to your motivation here. Because we see in the month of February, there's a bit of a slowing down, a bit of holding back. There could have even been the Knight of Wands feeling like a big fish in a little pond when it came to whatever cycle you were in before. And now that that cycle's coming to a close, there's a fear of feeling like a little fish in a big pond because you're starting over. And whatever it is the endeavor is here. Okay. Spirit, can you tell me more about the Two of Swords in the month of March, please? You know, and I also want to say, trust your mentors. Trust yourself, but also don't be afraid to ask for help when it comes to getting mentorship or guidance around this experience, because it's all very normal and it's all very healthy, and it's fine. No need to berate yourself if you're finding yourself in a new phase and then kicking yourself, feeling like you're not as confident as you once were back when you were in another phase. Okay? Now for the month of March, we have the King of Swords, the Queen of Cups, and the Six of Wands. Interesting. So I see these two as other people. Other people. This could be other people that are giving you praise, and you might be in a space of like, do I really trust what they say? Or are they just blowing smoke? But these people aren't blowing smoke. They're not blowing smoke. They're both very, you have the intellect, the high intellect, and the high emotion. Another way to read this energy is that you could feel like where you want to go and what you want to do and where you want to be successful requires you to be high emotionally, like emotional maturity and high intellect. And with the Two of Swords, you could think, you know, you could be a little bit blind to your own power here. That's another way to read this energy. You do have what it takes. We have the Page, we have the Empress, we have the Queen. So this would suggest through the first quarter of 2026, when you step into your receptive energy, as I described earlier in the reading, that is an evolution. You go from the Page of Swords, the student, to a more deeper understanding beyond intellect. You have a deeper understanding in the heart of what it is that you're doing and what it is that you're growing and evolving and strengthening your skill set here. I get the sense that this could quite possibly be pile number 3. Perhaps you were in a program of some kind, and say it's like a like you're studying to be a therapist or a counselor or a reader or a healer or something, that it requires so much more of you than just your knowledge of a situation. You have to bring your whole self to this in a professional setting. And that can be very intimidating. It can feel very intimidating when somebody else's health and wellness is, you know, it's in their hands ultimately, but you're there to assist. And so then a lot of fears can come up to be like, do I have what it takes to really help this person? Can I heal? Can I, like, what's so great about me that I'm going to be this person? You know what I mean? Like, that's some of the self-talk that comes in that can hold you back, which, make no mistake, this is a part of the process. This is all a part of the process. And it is an ever evolving and ever engaging and learning thing. And it's not that these fears pop up when you're fresh out of your program or fresh out of school. No, no, no. You will go through this. You will even reach this level of mastery. Okay? High intellect, high emotional maturity, and high intellectual and emotional understanding, which clearly makes you like very recognizable in your field. But make no mistake, even these people have moments when they feel doubt. Okay? And so that's very important to know. That's very important to know. You don't just reach a spot and feel confident forever in whatever it is that you're doing here. But this is a process. I mean, it's like, I see like a starting out, and then, oh my gosh, it's over, and now I have to be this big high, you know, like here I am, and all I want to do is just kind of crawl back in bed. I'm a little scared. I'm a little timid. I don't know what's going to happen. Do I have what it takes to do this thing that I've been working so hard towards in this dream? You know, and there can also be this idea that like, oh, I'm not going to be totally good at what I do, and I will have not achieved my goal until I get like praise and recognition. You know, that's also here. And it's like, well, you know, I mean, does that matter all that much? I mean, sure, everybody wants to be like outstanding in their field. And really praised and recognized, and it like quenches the thirst of the ego so well. And you have to tell yourself and know, not just BS yourself, but know that everything you do every day, whether it's acknowledged publicly or done in private, is that you are always strengthening your skills. You are always, you know, helping somebody on some level. You know, even if you smile at someone on the street and, you know, made that connection, it's like we do little things. A lot of the times the biggest impact comes from the small things that we don't even recognize as being a big deal. But yet we threw a pebble in the pond and the ripples rippled out and hit the edge and come back, and then, you know, what we do makes a difference. What we do makes a difference every day, even if we don't see it or have this parade to tell us so. Okay? But yeah, I mean, I feel like 2026 for you, I mean, this is going to go beyond the first quarter, because I feel like this first quarter is an evolving, is a unfolding of a process for you where you're going to really have this king and queen of intellect and heart, and there could be a part of you that might not trust that you do have that unless you get the praise and adulation. But I do feel like it's always growing for you, and this is a becoming here, pile number 3. This is a becoming, and so the invitation from Spirit is to allow the process to unfold, and remember to keep your heart open and to receive and to trust that the universe has your back, along with your own, of course, your decisions that you make and, you know, all the things. But I feel like you will, proof will be, you'll have proof positive of these energies so long as you stay and step in with integrity, with emotional and intellectual integrity. Okay? That's the success. That's the recognition. There's even a part of you that's going to have to, maybe even get out of your own way with regard to any fears you might have. This is going to require, telling yourself and owning it and knowing it that you have what it takes. You can go for what you want. If there's ever a time when you see, like, say, for instance, if you're going to be job hunting, you look at something and you think, oh, that's probably not, I probably don't have what it takes to do that thing, or apply. You have nothing to lose by applying. Don't ever talk yourself out of applying for something that you think that you would be good at, or even if you think that you would be good at like 80% of what is listed in there. And let me tell you this, when it comes to any kind of job hunting, when you're looking at things, they are going to put every task under the sun in the job description, okay? You will not be doing those things every day. And I feel like sometimes job postings can be really intimidating because they do want to weed out people that don't believe in themselves. And so what you got to do here is tell yourself, I have what it takes to make my dreams come true and happen. I can accept myself for when I do feel timid, but then when I remind myself that I could step into my power and open my heart and allow to receive what the universe has for me, then, and I believe in myself, then I can achieve what I came here to achieve. Okay? So I'm going to leave it there for the tarot for you, pile number 3. I really hope that resonated for you. I'm going to pick an animal spirit card for the wisdom card here, and I'm also going to pick a soul remedy card. So let's see what your animal is. Dragon, supernatural. You are the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. Very nice. So I get the sense that you could even be going into some, maybe what you're going into is a little bit, mystical. Maybe you're a sound healer, maybe you're wanting to be a Reiki master, or something having to do with the metaphysical kind of energy, stuff like that. Could be. Which is cool. Go for it. You have what it takes. Okay, let's see here. Velvet leaf. Velvet leaf. Self-love. Velvet leaf softly reminds you of your true nature, pure love. No matter what earthly chaos, negativity, or suffering you have faced, Velvet leaf wants you to remember that you are a magnificent, pure expression of divine love made manifest in human form. You are love itself. Love yourself. You are loved. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Trust yourself. Love yourself. Know that you have what it takes. Step into your receptive energy. This is beautiful. I do feel like it's the beginning of a longer journey that is just so rewarding, and could even be just the threshold of what 2026 has in store for you. So I do these readings every quarter. Definitely come back and check out the next quarter when that happens. That'll be in April. But there you are, pile number 3. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know how this resonated for you. I hope this helped, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.